Hi, welcome to Now It's Legal podcast, where we talk to D1 athletes and break down NIL deals. But today we have Michael Leon, who is an international soccer player playing for the University of Michigan.
Yeah.
Michael, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I start from the very beginning. What does soccer mean to you? Where does soccer come from? But you call it football.
Yeah.
Where does football come from?
For me, honestly, I mean, that's a big question. I think for me, every achievement I've had in my life, all the most important people I've met, my friends, anything that I've done in my life up to now has been because of football, as I've always said in my whole life until I came to America. But it's great. It's giving me opportunities. It's giving me my best friends. It's giving me the opportunity to travel the world, and it's giving me the opportunity to go to the University of Michigan. So I can't even complain. Yeah.
Absolutely. You're at a prestigious university like Michigan. You're far from home. You're from Ghana.
Yeah.
And what made you pick the University of Michigan?
I remember coming to America and being my prep school, which was called the Hatchkin School, for 4 years. And I think my junior year, I started getting a lot of offers in. Mainly, most of my offers were Ivy League, so Dartmouth, UPenn. I remember Princeton was one of them. But I wanted to go to a program where it gave me the best possible opportunities for sports, but also education is also up high in the level, So I knew I didn't want to go to Ivy League where it was just like I didn't want to be focused too much on school, even though it's changed now. That was my perception going in. I wanted to go to a school where both the academics and the athletics were on the same level, and that was University of Michigan.
Absolutely. So you pick Michigan, but before you go to Michigan, you get picked up by a club.
Yeah.
What is that club? What's its name?
When I was 11, I left home to the Right to Dream Academy.
The Right to Dream Academy is the club that you got picked up by. At what age?
11. I think I tried out a couple times, but then I got signed. I remember getting my scholarship and getting signed at the age of 11.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So you're on this journey. Obviously, soccer is life, and you're rolling, and you get picked up by this club. Can you see your dreams kind of formulating right before your eyes? You said you tried out before, it didn't work. So when did you finally, get down into, getting that acceptance?
You know what? Like, I grew up in a small town in Accra, which is a city, which is a city in Ghana. And every kid that wants to play football, wants to do something with their life, wants to get out and get signed by any of these academies. So I remember showing up to my first trial with over 1,000 kids, and you can see the hunger in every kid's face. Like every kid wants to get out of the immediate life where they can get the opportunity to dream bigger, if it was football or even going to prep school in America. They wanted an outlet, and so was I. I was done being average, and I could see the kids that I grew up with or anybody that came up before me from the same neighborhood not doing much. So I did one more for myself, and Right to Dream was the escape. So I tried a couple times, I didn't get picked, and I remember my third time where I was trying, it was over 1,000 kids, and when I got a chance to be picked and go into trial for a couple weeks, I knew there was a chance for me to start dreaming, and even goes in the name, Right to Dream. So I was starting to feel or have that feeling of knowing that there's a chance for me to dream even bigger because I'm in an institution where they're going to provide me with opportunities so far as I keep working.
You went to boarding school. When did that happen?
When I spent 5 years in the academy, so I was like 13, 14 when I was traveling in and out of Europe. Like I played with clubs in Denmark and England too. But the opportunity came up when I was like 14 or 13 when I knew I wanted to also like chase my academic dreams too, as the same as my athletic dreams too. So I left the academy when I was 15 to go to prep school in Connecticut.
Got it. So you've got a lot of people who are, recruiting you. You're on a club. You're headed in the right directory. I'm going to touch on your dream. Your dream is you wanted to escape your current conditions.
Yeah.
You saw people who were after you or before you go down not the right path.
Yeah.
So, what Premier League team did you try out with?
I remember, so when I was 13, 14, me and my age group, that team we went unbeaten where we played a lot of European teams. And so I remember playing City, Manchester City, and then I had a great performance. And I spoke to my coach from the academy a few days later saying they wanted me to come do a training attachment. And that was my first big chance being with a big club with such prestige, and also being exposed to world-class coaches and world-class players who I could learn from them every day. So by the age of 13, 14, I was training with Manchester City, doing a training attachment. Yeah.
Manchester City. That's a very renowned name, Michael. I think it's important that you say your whole name because it has a little bit of French in it. It has a little bit of this Ghana and in the city that you come from.
Yeah.
So go ahead and tell us your full name.
My name is Michael Kojo Leon. The Kojo is very local, and then my last name Leon is French. I means lion. Yeah.
That's incredible. A lion. And I think a lot of people want to look up to different, celebrities or people who play in a similar
Yeah.
sport as them, soccer or what you would like to call
Football.
football.
Yeah.
Who inspired you, and what athletes did you kind of role model after?
That's a hard one. I think like over the years, the older I got, I've had different role models and
Right.
for different reasons, but I've always looked up to um, Ronaldo, not R9, R7, because like I think he's come up and he's always expressed the importance of like hard work. And I've always believed I haven't always been the most talented on any team on my team, but I've one thing for sure that I know I can control is my hard work. And everybody's heard it hard work beats talent when talent does not work hard, and that's what Ronaldo has expressed every single time in his career, where no matter how hard he's getting, he's made sure he's consistent with the hard work and he's continuing to win and continuing to win regardless of what talent has brought him, So I've always looked up to him with his work ethics and his consistency in the sport, what he does outside the sport and stuff like that for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, what athletes and professional athletes have you been able to meet personally? Have you been able to meet Ronaldo and guys like that?
I haven't met Ronaldo, but I've met some cool guys. I remember when I was younger in a city, you used to stand in the same line with players like Aguero, um, all of the city players. Yeah, Toure used to come watch our trainings. And I think some of my closest friends are even some of the big stars in the Premier League right now. Mohamed Kudus plays for West Ham now. So I've had a chance for sure to meet some big players for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. And seeing your friends go from other clubs and then other professional leagues,
Yeah.
how inspiring is it to you to say, we walked in the same lines, we probably played on the same
Yes.
team as one another, and now I get to see you live your dream. And
Yeah.
that, I think when you see your friends achieving their dreams, it makes it feel that much more obtainable. It makes you maybe want to work that much harder. Can you?
I think for me, like it's has its good and bad effects on me, and I think seeing some of my friends that we grew up in, even though I took a different pathway by coming to America first, and having them be on the biggest stage, where sometimes even in my locker room here at Michigan, I end up sitting with my Michigan teammates and watch some of my teammates I grew up in Ghana on TV playing Champions League or playing the Europa or whatever. But one thing for sure that I've learned is that everybody's pathway is different, everybody's journey is different, and comparison is a thief of joy. And I think my story is so much different, and so I never try and put myself in their position. So yeah, they're winning right now, but I think like longevity is the best thing possible. Yeah, and then you did mention the fact that like if they have achieved, I think if you see your friends doing the same thing that you talked about your whole life, I think it's so obtainable so far as you don't stop. You haven't really lost if you don't stop or quit. So I think eventually you're gonna get to some form of your level where you deserve if we continue to keep going. And they doing it right now gives me the best inspiration. And having to call them my friends and seeing them live the dreams that we talked about when we were 11 and 12, gives me another reason to keep showing up 100%.
Absolutely. So, you took your own path. You came to America, came to play for a D1 premier school.
Yeah.
How are you going to let other kids know that they need to stay on the path that they're on? And inevitably, you sign up for this role model
Yeah.
because people are going to look up to you, and people are going to want to see your path and wanting to see the things that you've done differently or kept the same. So
Look, I'll be honest. Yeah, it hasn't been easy. When there's times where, like, yeah, I see kids that I grew up with playing on the bigger stage, and sometimes even struggling with injuries where you lose your position on the Michigan team, and like you're trying to get back in the team, and it's been hard. And yeah, I won't sit here and say it's been all rosy. Yeah, sometimes like I'm like, oh, I wish I took this path, or I wish I didn't come to America. You start overthinking everything, and I think my biggest advice to any athlete that's watching me is like you got to really embrace like your journey because it's your story, and the moment you start owning it, um, it becomes the most beautiful thing because you have kids that or people that are looking up to you that are in similar situation that you cannot fathom or even process it. And so the more you embrace your journey and be and tell your story and keep going in your pathway, you open a different pathway or a different line for people to also keep dreaming in that way and to also have belief that regardless of what path you take, you can eventually obtain the dream you've had as a kid. So yeah.
absolutely. That's great. So I think about this when you tell me, I look at my friends and I see them go do great things, and then I get to stay on my own path. But at the end of the day, what you have is family.
Yes.
And you have a great family around you because as much as the season goes like this, you're supposed to stay like this.
100%.
And having good people around you can really garner some of the best quality traits that you possess.
Yes.
Who in your family do you lean on the most to? Who are we calling? Who do we talk to before the games? Who talks you out of the cliff that you want to jump out on, or whenever you're doubting yourself? Who says, Michael Leon, come on, man, let's get back on track. Let's look at things positively.
You know what? Like, I just had This is so random. I just had a conversation with my mom today. I'm such a mommy's boy, 100%. But I grew up in Ghana with my real family, and then when I moved to America, I was hosted by a family in New York. We live in Pleasant Valley, and I've spent the last 8 years with them, and they are the best thing that's ever happened to me. I think I said it one time in an interview saying my host family right now, the Styles. The reason why I have been successful in my career or whatever I've done in America is because they took away the burden of having to worry about other things and gave me a chance to keep dreaming. They're like, you know what, we're gonna be the support system, and you can dream as far as you can. And I think the best thing, like my mom has shown up to every single game. This year we played UCLA, and by surprise. I didn't know they were coming. Yeah, I was starting, but I didn't know they were coming just an hour before I start locking, and I get a picture on the plane. And they flew in for literally 3 hours to come watch the game and hop on the red eye back. And these are moments where I cherish the most because it's like they've proven time and time again that they're gonna continue to show up, not because um, I'm their son now, but because they believe in the dream that we continue to bring up. And I think every single time I start to doubt myself, the biggest thing they remind me of, I've come this far, and I've always gotten out of the situation or the challenges that I've dealt with, even when it felt like you cannot get back on the other side. I've gotten out of it, and then the constant reminder that we're gonna get through it as a family is the biggest blessing I've had.
And you've been able to connect with your family. They've been
Yeah.
able to go to the games. You've
Yeah.
been able to play UCLA.
Yeah.
But then you inevitably have a community here in
Yes.
Michigan. You
Yeah.
have a community wherever you go, whether you're in New York,
Yeah.
wherever you stay a long time, you seem to
Yes.
embody what you are around.
Yes.
You are a product of your environment.
Yes.
So how have you been able to impact the community? How have you been able to kind of shake things up and put things into a positive light and put a spin on it that is very Michael Leon?
You know what? I've always also been like a community guy. Like anytime I get asked to define success, in my opinion, I always say you can have anything, but if the word communal benefit isn't in your definition of success, then it's really not success. And at least for me, And coming from Accra, Ghana, it's so important to be able to cherish and cherish moments and your success and be able to bring people along with you is the biggest thing because uh, I believe in God, and I also believe that the fact that if I'm winning and I'm bringing people along and I'm sharing my success with people and bringing people up, it only multiplies your blessings. And so every community I found myself, whether it be in Connecticut, New York, or Michigan, I've made it time to spend time with people any chance I get. And I also believe that giving back is not necessarily monetary stuff. Spending time with people, showing up. And I find time to be able to spend time with kids or anybody that needs my time, or show up to events where having your presence alone puts a smile on someone's face is bigger than you. I think these are moments where I put in front of me and I cherish a lot because it's what really makes me.
Yeah, it's what makes the whole thing tick. You have your family around you, but then the community that surrounds you
Yeah,
is very important because they're very much on the day to day.
yeah,
You get to see faces that are similar every single day. Can you talk about? You talked about the foundation, but you also talked about your walk with Christ. You
yes,
talked about how He's your rock and how you were able to navigate this very dynamic world, coming into a different country, coming into different cities and states. A lot of that is a leap of faith, and some things that you can't foresee, and so you're having to lean on Jesus Christ.
yes.
Can you talk about your faith journey and your walk with it? Because we all know through ups and downs, we either waver from it or we go closer to it.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think I'll talk about God first. I think the last few years I've gotten closer and closer to God, and I think the older I get, I start to understand his way or his path for me, and that's been the best thing. When I was younger, I used to freak out when things aren't going my way, and my dad, my real dad in Ghana, used to say this thing to me. He said, "Why panic? Why you panicking? I haven't done a single thing for you. Everything you've achieved, I haven't been a part of it. So who do you think it is?" You know, and that was such a wake up call to understand that there's a bigger man up there, or there's someone bigger up there
Absolutely.
whose plan for me hasn't been my dad's, or his plan for me is what's brought me here. So why not just trust it?
Right.
And the older I get, I'm learning to trust it, and God, Jesus is a constant. Everything will come. The good times will come, the bad times will come, but the one thing that isn't changing is Him. And the more that you hold on to it, I think one of my teammates is called Beto. He's from Mexico. Recently, when I've been struggling with trying to get back in the team and injuries and losing my position and trying to get back in the team and trying to get minutes back up. And he's been with me the season started, celebrating the wins together. And he sent me a video and he wanted me to watch it, and then I watched it, and it was a story of Job. And Job was, in the people that don't know about the Job stories, it was someone in the Bible who was blessed by God, and over times it got brought to God's attention that he's only worshiping you because of the successes, and God ended up taking it away and bringing a lot of plaques and bad things onto him to see if he was gonna waver or he was gonna change, and he didn't. It didn't phase him. He didn't change, and eventually God brought all the blessings and riches back again. Point being, he sent that to me to be in my constant scenario, situation I'm going through, or whatever it is in life, that it shall pass. And if I still stay invested in God, like, we will get through it. And once we get through it, there's always gonna be rainbows on the other side. So
Is that something that you grew up with? Did you find that yourself?
I think I grew up with it, but it didn't. I think the older I got more mature and understood it even better. As I took a leap in trying to learn more and reading the Bible, and I'm going to church, and trying to find ways to really understand the word. I learned more and more, but it had to start somewhere, and so I definitely grew up with it. Yeah.
That's got to be such an amazing journey, and your path to all the way to where you're here now in Michigan. We are in Michigan right now. We are about what 5 minutes from campus.
Yeah, literally.
We're just right here in the heart
Yeah,
of it.
no, no.
I think a lot of people can see that it's such a blessing, to get this far. And you are far physically, and you are far, just far from family, and it's got to weigh on you. But I want to talk about your foundation,
Yes.
and talk about where you're going with that, and what are your plans? What have you done? And
Yes.
what are you going to continue to do?
I think like we far from home physically, but also like my journey here didn't just start. It started here. I always knew I wanted something more for myself. Regardless of the role models ahead of me, having none. But my project started because I was in the worst place of my life where I was getting hurt a lot, and so my joy for the game was dropping. So I was ready to toss the towel, literally. And I had to sit and reflect for a while, and then I realized there's one thing that really brought me spark in life, and that was giving back and putting a smile on somebody else's face. And that was how I wanted to get my mojo back and or find the joy for the game back. So I sat down, and we decided to make 100 jerseys for kids. I mean, where I grew up, literally in the on the field, kids that play on the first field that I started playing on.
Wow.
I wanted to go back. I wanted a full circle moment where I wanted to go see what it feels like to be back on that field and to see kids that I used to be in their same shoes. And we made jerseys for them. And I'm seeing the smile and the excitement on these kids' face was bigger than me. It was to show we were given, me and whoever was part of that project, were given these kids a reason to keep dreaming, because everybody knows what it feels like to have a new jersey on, a new shoe on. You want to be outside,
Yeah.
you want to show it. And so these kids having the new jerseys, regardless of my name on the back, they were going to show up to training every day because they had new sets of clothes where they can play in every single day. And then they also had a role model that I didn't have. So essentially my giving back and my projects that I'm going to continue to do, and I'm going to end up having docu series of my Michael Leon projects. The whole idea is to give kids wherever you are the opportunity to feel like you can be whoever you want to be. You can dream as big as you can. You can you can you can pick up the ball one day, and if you really invest your time and your consistency and pray and do the right things, eventually you can achieve whatever you want to do. And so given we're just trying to give hope and excitement and reasons to underprivileged kids or kids where we grew up or around the world, whoever gets inspired in their way, to keep doing their thing and to feel like they can achieve whatever they want to do, man.
That's incredible.
Literally.
You are allowing kids, you are giving the dream and passing it on to the next generation, which is inevitably our future.
Yes.
Can you talk about, when you were growing up as a kid, would you be proud of the person that you are today? Like if older you got to meet younger you, what would they say to each other? What would that look like?
I think we're not done yet. There's so much more that younger me would want to see, but in baby steps, younger me will be proud and say,
Good.
"We're taking the right path. We're taking the right strides. Not just saying the words, but we actually put it into actions." And yes, like I think my story is not done. And for me, I always said it. Moments like this are exciting because the more I tell my story and the more I keep working harder, the bigger the platform gets, the more opportunities we can have to be able to make these changes for these kids or whoever gets inspired by our story or what we do. You know what I'm saying? So, um, I think younger me will have a giggle, and be like, he's getting there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's doing
yeah,
it.
he's
He's
doing it.
rocking
He's
and
doing
rolling.
it.
Well,
Yeah, yeah,
well, I certainly, we've only known each other for about an hour or so.
yeah.
You just have a great aura. You have a
Appreciate
great
it.
head on your shoulders. You're well spoken, and you definitely have a drive to you. But I want to know, Michael, what makes a good teammate, and what makes you special as a teammate? A two-parter.
Um, being a good teammate is the hardest thing, and also I'm still learning, and I have had my fair share of moments where I feel like I haven't been the best teammate. But being a good teammate is showing up regardless of your role on the team. If you're a starter, if you're playing a lot, to not playing a lot, is being able to keep that constant energy where you're supporting your team, whether you play 90 minutes or you're playing 1 minute, and to add into the cost. Because a team is very successful when everybody's bought in, regardless of their role. But the moment people start looking to the sides and envy starts to get involved, and that's when it pulls away from the bond that you guys have created. What makes me a good teammate? Man, I'm the guy in the locker room who's dancing 24/7, who's making jokes. So I think I think my energy, constantly trying to make my teammates laugh, trying to bring an energy where we love to be around each other. And if you watch my games on the field, I'm constantly talking. I have this drive where I'm constantly trying to make sure. Um, I've heard it is contagious, and so I use that kind of energy to where when we're losing or we're winning to try and keep the energy up so we can get through it. And I think that's what makes me a good teammate. Yeah.
Well, it seems like you're a great teammate. What would you say, uh, as a person, what would you like to work on or instantly correct about you?
Um, I'm learning about that. I think my highs and lows as a person. I think uh,
Staying more level-headed.
more level-headed. I think sometimes when I'm doing well, yes, I think when I'm doing well, I'm more like this. But sometimes when things go south a little bit, I can go like this until I start picking myself back up. But I think I want to learn how to regulate my emotions in this kind of world. In order to be successful, you gotta learn how to be like this.
Yes, you got
Um,
to be prime time.
you have to be like, say, you can't get thrown off, even if you're winning or you're not doing well, you hurt. You got to stay like this and trust in the process. And I can put my hand on my chest and say I'm learning and I'm growing in that sense. But if there's one thing I can correct in my world, is to stay level-headed. Because if I get to that level of staying constant regardless of what gets thrown at me, I'm telling you, the sky's the limit, man. The
Absolutely.
sky's
I
the
love
limit.
it.
Yeah, no.
How long have you been in Michigan?
I'm finishing up my 4th year right now.
You're
Yeah.
finishing up your 4th year, so that means you got a lot of memories built up. Can
Literally,
you
man.
tell me, what's one of your favorite memories from Michigan on the field?
On the field? Ooh.
And we can pull up the highlight. We can find it on
Oh yeah,
YouTube.
we can definitely find the games too. So I remember um, last year we're playing Rutgers at home, and it was alumni
You're
weekend.
playing who at home?
Rutgers,
Okay.
from New Jersey. They came here, and it was an alumni weekend. We had all the alumni here, and we're losing 2-0. And I remember going to the locker room and nobody was phased, everybody was looking at each other and so what now. And I've never seen a team in the locker room get so hyped to the point where we're gonna give it all out in the last 45 minutes that we are. And I'm telling you, we came out like dogs, like flying through tackles, chasing the game. And we came from a 2-0 down game to a 3-2 game, winning at home. And the series was insane. And I played the whole game, but I remember being in the game where I didn't stop talking and I didn't care if I lost the ball or not because my teammate will pick me up. Like everybody was so invested. And I think that's the best 45 minutes I've ever played where everybody was bought in. Tackles were thrown, annoyances. The crowd was up. I don't think the crowd sat down for a second. And I think that was one of my best memories because we came down from 2-0 where the emotions were down to picking ourselves up here and to like feeling like this. And those were the best moments for sure.
That's incredible. What gets a team to really ramp up and kind of get in that gear, get in that mode? How are you able to orchestrate a team either on the creative side, interpersonal, or you're on the field and hey, we got to lock in, take care of business? How are you able to differentiate that and kind of move the momentum? How do you do that?
You know what? I don't even know if there's, I just think like it's the relationship you've built with the team, and to understand that like if the job, you, I can't, you can say something if you're not about the work, and I think I've proven to my teammates and everybody around me that when the job needs to get done, if you need a fighter, if you need another warrior, I'll be there, and I've shown up for them. And when the work is in the spring season, in the off seasons, I'm doing the job. So if I'm doing the job, I've earned the right to be able to say something, and they're gonna listen, because it's not like I'm just sitting around saying something else. So I think in order to be able to switch conversation and get teams going, is you should be about the work. You should be about what you say. You should be who you say you are. And that's how you earn that respect, where you can flip the switch with them and they're always gonna listen, and vice versa, because respect goes both ways. But respect starts it's earned when you actually do the work. Yeah.
Absolutely. Respect is whenever you put in work, and people respect the work that you put in,
Yes.
not because somebody told them you were great.
Yes.
They saw the greatness with their
Yes.
own two eyes.
Yes.
I'm kind of going back to family, kind of flip flopping
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah.
Who's the hardest on you in your family? Who's gonna be like, dude, that wasn't a good game, or hey, you need to do better. They're gonna go straight to film, and then we'll go into a little photo montage that I want you to look at a photo and then chat about it.
I think I have a small circle. I have one of my best friends. He plays at Syracuse. He's called Kalux. He's my hardest critic.
Yep.
We always honest with ourselves. And I think after a game, he's constantly calling me or tell me you didn't do this right. And sometimes when I don't we do have this thing. Sometimes when I'm not getting the playing time I want and I'm complaining, he snaps me back over and it's like, stop the whoa, it's me. And I've never liked that. When things are going south or not going well, I hate when like we start making about ourselves or saying, whoa, like why
Yeah.
me, why me, why me,
Sure.
why not you. And so 100% when we talk about family, even though he's not like blood related, he's definitely somebody that keeps me on my toes regardless of anything. Even if I'm doing well, he's like, it shall pass too, or it can flip like this. So just stay level headed, and stay doing the work for sure. I'll say him. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go and chat here. First, what is your Instagram?
Mike Leon, MICHLEON 22.
All right.
Yeah.
So we got a photo right over here. We'll pop it up. Right here.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what's going down here, buddy?
It was a game day. That was my game day fit. I was bringing myself back to my preppy days in high school. And I was listening to my music, going to the tunnel, and I think that the guy said something about my outfit, and so it made me smile.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a
Hey, let's scroll to another. Let's scroll to another post that he has. Aaron, what other post we got here? Okay.
Talk about how didn't you get them all to dress up for the games?
Yes.
Were you
yes,
able?
yes.
So were you able to get all your teammates on the same page and dress up for a game?
I think like me, I think a couple guys on the team, me, Jason, the idea of fashion is such a big deal for us, and I like in this world where it's so intertwined. And so sometimes of course, you know what they say, you dress, you dress good, you look good.
Look good, feel good,
You
dress
feel
good.
good, you play good, and the pay is good.
Yeah.
So when a big game is coming up, I'll text in the chat, or Jason will text in the chat. We'll get the whole team say, hey, we're gonna get the camera guy coming, because sometimes I can set up somebody coming to take pictures. So let's look good for this game, because I know how such dressing up can have an effect on your mental coming into a big game. And
Yes.
so most home games definitely have a game day fit, and the guys have done well this year. Everybody comes in their own style. Everybody's authentic with what they believe in or how they dress, and it's been working. If you go through the Instagram page, you see everybody's fitted for the game days. Yeah, shout out Michigan Game Day Fits.
Shout out Michigan Game Day Fits. I love it. Well, tell me a little bit more about your love for fashion, and then kind of how far does that go back? When did you start saying, dang, I got it going on?
Yeah, you know what? When I was young, my dad thinks he's such a stylist, in Ghana. So, I learned. I was when I was in Ghana for sure, but I've been around sports for my whole life, and in the academy, watching the pros that were older than us go pro, and then the first thing is when they sign their contract, it's like they look good. You know what I'm saying? They were wearing some of the nice stuff, and I remember me and the guys in the academy, in the dorms, would look at it. This guy's fit's okay. He can do better with his
Yeah.
signing. So I've always been interested in that, but it really started growing when I left high school because I was very preppy. And so moving from being preppy and loving streetwear, I started figuring out how to combine both. And I call it urban,
Yeah.
where I combine my streetwear with my preppy
Yes.
past, and then make a fit from it. And so even this summer, I got invited to Fashion Meets football in New York City by this guy. He's doing war around. He's called Raheem. It was by Juventus, a club, and he organized the whole thing, and I got invited to that, and that's where we were able to express ourselves through fashion, and everybody that was around was a football, soccer enthusiast, and so it's definitely been growing the past few years, but my style definitely developed from when I was younger, but I think it's gotten better and it's continuing to get better, so now I can say I can give styling tips for sure.
The swag is getting built up
No,
and
it's
getting
getting
better
better. It's
over
getting
time.
better. It's getting better for
Can
sure.
you tell me what is your favorite piece that you have in your closet? We'll go with like what you wear, but then we'll do an accessory.
Okay. Okay. What I wear? I would say I'm learning to get like timeless pieces where it's something that I can have forever. So I just picked up these real denim Capital jeans.
Denim what?
So Capital
Capital.
is a brand, but they make these denim jeans. So
Okay.
and I just picked up my first
Are
pair.
those them right there?
No, these
I was
these
like,
are
those
actually
not
you know
denim.
what? Shout out, this is my teammate's brand, Blurred
Okay.
Vision. So shout out Blurred Vision by Jason Buckner. I'm repping him tonight actually.
yeah.
Yeah, no, but I think the Capital jeans for sure. I think it's something I'm gonna have for like forever. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna accessory right now.
Favorite accessory?
I got a pearl necklace, a real pearl necklace for my birthday for sure.
When's your birthday?
It passed September 9th. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So no, that's definitely my favorite piece. It's like 16-inch, so it's.
Oh, it's
it's
good.
It
It's
just sits right under,
You gotta
So
love
my
that.
pearl necklace for sure.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
absolutely. Favorite sneakers?
I love loafers.
Loafers.
So I
So
want
Italian leathers are we looking at?
Yeah, 100%. I would say low. But
It's
if you
the
want,
preppy coming out.
it's coming up. But if you want sneakers for sure, I would say, ooh, Solomon's.
Solomon's?
Yeah, comfortable.
Yeah.
They work. You can dress up, dress down with them any day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no.
If you could have one soccer player that you could meet and have dinner with, who would it be?
I would say Kunde. He plays for Barca. I just want to sit down. He's a defender. He's aggressive, but he's French too. But his outfits it's insane.
His outfits, his
no.
pre-game fits.
He prides himself on like game day fits for sure. And so I would definitely sit with him and talk about football for sure. Talk about his mentality because he's aggressive. Barely smiles on the field. See what inspires him, but also where he gets his inspo for his outfits for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One more before we hit break. I have a favorite soccer player, Pele.
Oh yeah,
Pele is one of my favorites. The hat tricks, the history. He was one of the youngest to achieve so early. Seeing somebody, his story is very inspirational.
Yeah.
Is there any older soccer players that interest you, right?
Yes.
Kind of.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So Ghana actually had our own he was called Abedi Pele, and I think he was one of his sons. Two of his sons actually still play now. They play for the national teams for a while. Jordan Ayew, Dede Ayew, they're still playing in the Premier League. But Abedi Pele is definitely somebody I look up to because even though he played a long time ago, he is somebody from Ghana who created that pathway or given the whole world a chance to look at African players, specifically Ghanaian players, where that we have talent. So he played in England, and then he ended up playing in the French league. I know he played for Marseille, and he put Ghana really on the map. And so he's definitely somebody I'm grateful for and I look up to, because he put our name out there Ghanaian players, African players, and so it gave scouts the chance to watch African players. So shout out him.
Absolutely. All right, we're gonna hit break, and when they'll come back, break down some NIL. But Michael, appreciate it, my guy.
Of
We're
course.
really rocking and rolling
Nah,
here.
nah,
Cool,
nah,
man.
100%,
All right.
100%.
Welcome back to Now It's Legal podcast, and now we're gonna dive down into the international NIL space. There's a little bit of a barrier there,
Yeah.
and I wanted to chat about it. So, name, image, likeness, where college athletes are able to get endorsements and get payment, is not available for international
Yeah.
students. Can you break that down for me and to a viewer that wouldn't know? Why can't you? Kind of what are the barriers dealing with now?
I think like to answer it simply, it's I can't get compensated for anything because it violates the terms of my visa. So I'm on an F1 student visa, and so anything that involves a transaction where I'm doing something to get paid for, it violates the F1 visa, and then therefore it can be terminated, and even worse, get deported for.
Right. So this doesn't even go as far as NIL. You can't go out and say, let's say you wanted to work at GameStop or a coffee shop and you wanted to work as like a front, a cashier. You
Yeah.
couldn't even do that.
No.
That would violate your visa.
Yes.
And I think that this is like a huge issue that maybe not a lot of people know about. That the NIL endorsement space is already a very difficult space to secure real dollars and real endorsements with companies that have longevity.
Yeah.
And if you're able to secure a deal, I feel as you should be able to partake in that deal
Yes.
and not be alienated.
Yeah.
Alienating international students from the NIL market, I think you can see with the new, just an influx of European players from Ghana, South Africa, Nigeria. I mean, you name it. You have names that are in the pro sports, whether it's baseball with Shohei or it's basketball with Victor Wembanyama, or the soccer leagues. And here's the difference between soccer. There's soccer and baseball, and they're very intertwinable. And here's the reason why. You have these young kids going pro at such young ages. Then you have clubs, then you have semi-pros, and then you have all different pro leagues. Very competitive space, as when you have baseball, you have the minor leagues, then you have the come up, then you have the signing on to the pros. It's very competitive with this space, and I think that we're limiting some people with a decision to either come to America, go the D1 route, play at a great university like Michigan, but nope, you can't partake in anything that involves a transaction, or you could be, going back, or you have to choose, I'm going to go pro early, take a chance, might get cut, might not be able to ever have the ability to ever, take back my decision. And these are huge adult weighing decisions on young men and women. Can you just kind of expel on that, speak on that?
I think like it's extremely difficult because like you come out or you leave your country to basically have a better life, and so these NIL stuff or these spaces are supposed to enhance like or help like athletes' life get better, and so you spend time or you around kids who are Americans and can benefit from doing videos or even like working for other people, and then getting paid, and then you would think like, yeah, we move from our countries to come here just so we can have a better life, and what more or what best way to help a kid coming from who is not American than to compensate them for playing a sport they love or doing something for the school. So it's definitely a challenging way. I know they say they're working on ways to be able to include us and have it not violate our visa and stuff, but still, obviously, I'm still here and it hasn't benefited me in any way, shape, or form. But it's definitely something that needs to be addressed for sure.
I'm able to talk to different athletes from all different universities and how they're able to make their contribution to NIL. With the international student, you're able to affect it in a different way, a philanthropic way.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
I mean, like I've always had like love for giving back and philanthropy stuff, and not being able to get NIL deals where I get compensated. Yeah, of course, like if I was in that space, yeah, it would make it easier to be able to embark on these like stuff that I like to do, where making jerseys or donating to a charity or whatever. But in either way, I've been trying to build my platform by constantly trying to give back and doing projects where I'm helping either we going and training kids in YMCA or like kids in Ypsilanti or like back in Ghana or whatever. And I think that's been my way of putting my name out there or creating a bigger, because I feel like by doing that, then I build a portfolio for myself. Or when I get in the space where I can actually earn money or I'm getting some form of income from either getting signed by a pro team, then I've already built the portfolio platform for myself to be actually to then actually make changes on a grand scale, you know. And so the past few years I've managed to make at least one project every semester where it's either we go into FC or we I think the funny part is me and Aaron, we met at a amputee camp where I just volunteered to go play soccer with kids who struggle, who do not have either a left leg or a right leg, but we're so interested in playing sports. So it's like you show up, and then it gave me a lot of perspective where I had to play with the crutches too and play and pretend like I didn't have a left leg, and it puts you in that perspective of being appreciative of life. But with that being said, yeah, it's my approach to this NIL space or branding or building your portfolio, my own portfolio has been around philanthropy and making sure I'm using what I have to be able to not necessarily bless, but to help others
Yeah,
in
be
that
able to
sense.
help other people.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
name, image, likeness doesn't mean, hey, let's be great at soccer.
yeah.
It mean or football. That means let me use my name, image, likeness for my image and my brand to
Literally.
impact other individuals. And you've been able to do it. Can you talk about whenever you brought kids from a camp that you were signed by as
Yeah.
as a boy? And can you kind of talk about
So
that?
so basically, so yeah, like I've been blessed in that sense, coming from Right to Dream, going to Hotchkiss and playing at Michigan. Yeah, there's some form of my name and likeness where I'm like, how can we use this to make a change? So I remember like one of my first projects was with the Tough organizations, and basically they do a similar thing where they raise funds to be able to help underprivileged athletes all across America, and obviously they aligned a lot with what I believe in and stuff like that. So we ended up working together, and made these J's for the 100 kids. I think my recent project was I went to FCA, YMCA, where we just showed up to the school, spoke to the kids, and they were excited to have a Michigan athlete there. And you have no idea what that means for kids that want to play either sports or also or have a role model. You just show up and feel like, like to some extent they feel, and I don't think I'm anybody, but at least not yet. But you can see the excitement on their faces to be in the premises of a Michigan athlete, and I think for me, it's been the biggest in taking 2 hours out of my day or planning that, and to take 2 hours out of my day to go spend time with other people has been my ways of using my name, image, and likeness to benefit people, and showing how it's bigger than myself.
Absolutely. I think here's a perspective that you should maybe look at. What does a giant see when he looks at himself in the mirror? He sees himself.
Yes.
He is a giant to everybody else in the room. He's this big name. But to him, he's just some regular old guy. And I would say that you are somebody, more than just a D1 athlete, but you play for the University of Michigan and you're inspiring others to go out and take hold of their dreams. And they don't even know the amount of risk that you took to get to that point. But I really want to talk about how Michigan and the team and how you've been able to kind of deep dive into the heart and souls and the fandom that Michigan has, and the team.
Yes, I mean, like literally, when you walk into a locker room, the first thing I think one of the biggest thing on the wall is the team, the team, the team, and I think with Michigan, one thing Michigan has done very well in terms of recruitment is bringing kids all over the world. I know I have an English thing, a kid on my team, a Mexican kid, and then having a kid like me from Ghana, it creates like this room of perspectiveness, you know. And so for me, when I see the team, what comes into my mind is how you represent yourself, how you represent your family, how you represent the team and your teammates needs to all unfold onto one idea, and that's to represent the team that I'm on, Team 25. So, for example, when I'm going outside, when I'm sitting here talking to people or putting my story out there, it's important to realize that I am representing more than just myself, you know. And so, or on a Friday night when I'm walking around State Street, or I have an off day and I decide to take myself to. I need to be able to think about the consequences with that and to realize that everything I do and my actions, whether good or bad, is for the team and it will impact the team however way possible. So walking into the locker rooms and seeing the team on the wall, it's a constant reminder that we want to leave our legacy for Team 25 and to feel like we've been blessed to have the opportunity to play at Michigan. And what more can we do than to put the current team on the platter or up here in our goals and our
Upper
priorities?
echelons.
So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So my question is, why is Michigan the greatest university in the world?
The question is, why isn't Michigan the greatest university of the world? You know what I mean? Like, look around, you here and you go on campus. Like, I personally, if I'm going to answer that, I would say from alumni base, I remember going to Italy with my team this year, and walking in Rome, like just hearing random people scream "Go Blue." Why isn't Michigan?
What does Go Blue mean?
I actually don't know. That's a good question. I don't know what go, but I just say "Go Blue." What does "Go Blue" mean? Because we wear blue.
No, I'm
'cause
just
we're-
saying, just for the people out there, like, why would you say Go Blue? You know, you
Oh.
have stuff like what is the block M?
the
mean to
block.
you? What does the block M mean to you?
I think community. I'll say the
Okay.
block M is community. I think like this summer, I did a career venture with Michigan Athletics and being able to visit Chanel, being able to visit all these top companies, agencies, Excel Sports, and having the opportunity to just walk around and learn from these people is because of the block M and the how heavy it is, you know. And I think the respect that comes with it. I think if you can walk into any room, and when you say you're a graduate or you're an athlete that played at University of Michigan, people sit back up in their chair and they want to listen to you. They want to help you. They want to be there for you because of how heavy of the weight or the respect the block M carries.
How surprising was it for you when you were traveling abroad and even traveling now when you're wearing Michigan gear, hearing people call out and being fans, being, thousands and thousands of miles?
It's mad, isn't it? It's mad. You know, it's mad. I think like we had people saying "Go Blue," which was exciting. But the funny part was we also had people saying Ohio State, you know, and that was funny. That was
Sure.
funny to me because to me, in my eyes, they were fans, you know.
Sure, they're fans of the game.
Because if you're saying Ohio State, that means you know who Michigan is, you know who we are, you know. So I think like knowing that I go to a school where it's beyond just America and it's bigger than just America, and like people in Rome or people in Florence know who we are. Going back to the story makes little Michael happy because it's like, or makes me little Michael proud because the little kid that grew up in that small town in Accra managed to go to a school like the University of Michigan, which is the greatest university in the world. Yeah.
So, to aspiring athletes who are coming up in recruitment,
Yes.
what would you tell them if they were looking at Michigan and they wanted to consider it?
I get a lot of these in my DMs with kids who look up to me or are coming from the same program in Connecticut. And I think the first thing I say to them is take your education equally as serious because no matter how good you are on the field, you need to also get in the school. And it's also important to going to class and try and get your A's, you know. And so my biggest advice is, regardless of how good or how hard you're working on the field, take education, your academics also serious, and be somebody involved in the community, because at the end of the day, what makes Michigan really big or such a great school is how intertwined and how close the community is. Even when you graduate, the alumni network is amazing. You know, I can pick up the phone and call somebody who's playing, like Jackson Reagan, who plays Seattle Sounders, and I can ask him a pro question, maybe because I'm trying to get in that award, and he's gonna pick up the phone. Why? Because of the sense of community that has been built just going to Michigan. So my biggest advice is take school seriously too, but also put yourself in a community and start learning how to work alongside other people, because once you get into this community, it is for life.
Absolutely. One more. If you were going to another sport, have
Yeah.
you gone to other sporting events?
Yes.
And can you tell me which one was your favorite, whether it was, football or basketball or baseball or women's sports, anything? Can you tell me?
I've been to a lot of games because I've had boys on the football team that I've had to go support. But I would say like track. You know, I had this one of my close friends. He actually just ran. He ran in the Paris Olympics. He's from Nigeria. He was called Dubem. I went to watch him run the 400 last year at home, and I think that was like my second track event. But the energy around the track meet is insane, you know. And knowing you nice with the event you do was sick, and so that's definitely an event that brought me excitement, especially when I knew I was gonna go watch my boy, and he came out on top, and him doing his celebration on the sides and screaming on the side and getting a picture after, you know, it's exciting, you know, and then having vice versa, having them come to your game and after showing respect to is nice. It's nice.
Absolutely. Well, that's what happens when you put good people in your circle, and you've got even better people here at the
100%.
University of
100%.
Michigan. We're here. We're in the heart. We're here with Michael Leon.
brother.
We got Now It's Legal podcast where we do NIL and deal breakdowns, but we also talk to guys that have it really going on, and I'm excited for your upcoming season and where you're going to get going with it. If you have anything else you want to tell the viewers, tell them now. Tell them now.
I would say, you know what, stay in touch. I think I'm not done. Obviously, I'm about to graduate Michigan, but there's exciting stuff coming up. Keep following the story. Michael Leon to the world.
All right. All right. Thank you. Bam.
Let's go.
Yes, we did that.